Hi, I'm Caitlyn.
And I'm Kalee, and this is Shoot the Vows.
Today we're actually going to be going back and forth with why maybe you should or shouldn't get a videographer for your wedding.
I always think you should, but that's what we're going to talk about today.
So Kalee is obviously biased because she's a videographer.
A little bit.
I'm also slightly biased because I want you to get video because it's a photo video company that we have. But I'm going to play a little devil's advocate, and we're going to
hopefully answer your questions on, why do you need video? Why should you get video? Should you not get video? Should you get partial video? There's always so many questions that I feel like brides have when it comes to video. They just know that they're basing most of, what they need off of budget, and rightfully so. Budget's a big, important part of this.
It really is.
But I really think not everybody knows the benefit of video, or the fact that you don't have to have me there for 8 hours like your photographers. You can have me there for 5 hours. You can have me there for 6, And I think some people just think, oh, it's expensive, let's not even think about it. Yeah. Instead of weighing out the pros and cons of it.
I mean, that's exactly what I did for my wedding. So I'm only going to give one pro of my opinion because I have personal experience, and then everything else I'm going to be against you.
That's okay.
I'm going to grill you. No, so for my wedding, we were on a very tight budget, and I would have loved to have video. It was just literally impossible. It was out of the question, and I didn't even have to look to know that it was out of the question because I could barely afford a photographer. But we did a choreographed dance for our first dance, and I'm a singer, so I actually sang to Joe at our wedding. It was a surprise. He wanted me to, and I was like, that's so self-centered. I'm not doing it. And then I pulled up a chair. The DJ knew. I grabbed the mic. I sang to it. And that would have been so nice to not have crappy cell phone footage of.
Been able to have the crisp, clear audio of it, because I don't know if everybody knows this, but I know we personally hook up to the DJ or the speakers of the band or whoever is there performing, and we record it.
So, I mean, as far as audio goes, though, yeah, you don't get that with photo.
So for us specifically, when we're talking about photo video from our side of things, I know we hook up to the DJ or the band or the speakers or whoever's there, we hook up to it and we record it, and we do it so we have perfect crystal clear audio, unless of course your DJ's blasting it, and then that, poses some altercations there, and you can turn it down in post and everything like that. So it's not nothing that, a videographer couldn't fix later down the road. But audio is the biggest benefit, in my opinion, of video. Whether it's the vows, whether it's the first look, whether it's a handwritten card, whether it's the speeches, the dance, whatever it may be, that audio is just so touching.
Yeah. So, I mean, going back to budget, obviously it's not in a lot of people's budget to have video. I think that's the biggest reason that people don't do it.
And that's why I had mentioned, cutting back, just doing the ceremony footage, or just doing, that ceremony and then the start of the reception. You don't get much of the dancing, and, but you get as much as you can get in the first bit of the night. And most of the time that's when all of the dancing is happening, until you get those heavy partiers.
So personally, I know this, but pretend I'm a bride and I'm asking you because I don't know this. Why is video so expensive?
Because there is a lot that goes into video. And obviously not everybody at home is going to know a lot of these things, which is why we started the podcast, But between the audio equipment that we have to set up, the 2-3 cameras that we have, on the tripods themselves, and then the ones that I'm carrying around half the time. We have the mics that we set up on the grooms and on the dads, so whenever we do the first look, whether it be with dad or groom or whoever, we mic them up so we have that audio to use in the video. And the editing footage takes a minute. There is so much that goes into the editing side of things. And it doesn't just take a week, unfortunately, like photo. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of time to make sure that your audio is linked, the sounds. So, and then when you are going through and cutting it and using certain parts of it, where it's at. There's so many little things that goes into a wedding day video.
Yeah. And, is it easier to edit a 5-minute reel, highlight reel, than it is to edit a full, 1 hour kind of thing?
110%. Well, that's hard, Because with the whole, just having the documentary footage of it, of just the full thing, you still got to go through and you got to have your cuts and you've got to have your different elements that go into it. Where with 5 minutes, I'm looking at all the different clips. For me, the 5 minute, yes, is easier, but I want to put all of it in there, so I have 700 clips. That's totally dramatic. I've never wound up with 700 clips, but if I'm looking through all of those, there's only so much I'm going to be able to put into 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas with the documentary style, like, it's all there for you, and it's just finding like where everything fits properly into that case. Mm-hmm. So I do think the 5 minute is technically easier, but it's harder for me because I want to make sure that you get your full day, and it's not just, you don't feel like I'm keeping anything from you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I want to make sure you get to see every little bit of the footage.
Yeah. And then with photography, I mean, I feel like everyone assumes they're getting a wedding photographer, but not everyone is like, they just know they're getting a videographer. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I think one of the reasons is because you can't hang up and frame your wedding video. Right. Now they do have some stuff where you can put it in like an album, and it's like an actual playing video that in like what looks like an album. But for the most part, I mean, most people aren't like digging through their files on their computer and watching their wedding video on a weekly basis.
Right. And that's where the good side of like the social media stuff comes from, and then you have it in vertical form for social media. You post it and it comes up every year. It gets reshared. Facebook reminds you, hey, look what happened a year ago. Yeah, and you get to look at them all over again without thinking, oh, it's my wedding day. Let me go watch my wedding video.
Yeah, I think social media has made things a lot easier. And then like sharing what it actually felt like on the wedding day with your friends and family on social media.
You can see what happened, and again, that's just one of the biggest benefits to video that you don't have with photo is you can hear everything. Like, I can't stress enough. Like, I'm played back when I'm editing, when I'm done editing, I watch back the thing and I see if there's anything I need to trim down a little more, extend a little more. And I know, I think I've told this story on the podcast before, but the one video we did where the kids were walking down the aisle and the son points at the groom like this. Oh my goodness. Like, you don't always get to see those things, and like the bride would have never got to see that happen. Yeah. Had it not been on video. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, she's still at the back waiting for, her daughter to go forward so she can go. So I don't know, just being able to see all the little things that, the bride can't be there for, or the groom can't be there for, like the getting ready stuff on each side. Like, I just think it's a good benefit to have video.
Yeah, I think one of the other things too is like, I had a bride that was like, oh, I want video, and I specifically want like before I come down the aisle, because I'm not going to be there for that. Like, I don't get to see any of that.
Everybody's
because
reactions
she's
and
like
everything.
Tucked away. Yeah. So it is definitely a different way to relive everything. Mm-hmm. And if you get a good videographer that can like put some really good music to it and knows how to kind of make it like emotionally moving.
It's not just the music, but like all the little enhancements that go into it. Like the birds chirping, water rushing, if you're, out by a creek at your wedding day or anything like that. Like, those little sounds and details, they make a difference. And if you don't have a good videographer, like, you're not going to get that.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. So it sounds like it's a lot more of an audio thing than it is like a visual. I mean, obviously
the visual is important, because you can't have your audio without your visual. But the audio is really what really hits home, is really what. Did you hear the birds chirping, the morning of the wedding day? And then to see that in the video too, like, I don't know. There's just something about all the little audios that you pick up through the day that like you don't really notice until it's in the video loud and clear.
Yeah. I think another thing that a lot of people are doing lately is content creators instead of videographers, because it's a lot cheaper. It's a lot. I mean, there is some skill that goes into it because a lot of times, you don't just, anyone could take just like a cell phone video. Well, like a lot of these content creators are putting reels together. They're using a gimbal, so it's a lot smoother of shots. Maybe there's light editing.
Well, and that's where for your content creation, most of the stuff, like, you can't slow it down because our phones don't understand frame rates, and you know, you can't shoot in 60 frames per second, so you can slow it down. Like, there's stuff that our phones just can't do that our cameras can. And I can get those smooth dips right down, walking back down the aisle in slow-mo. Your content creator isn't going to be able to do that. They can only slow it down so much before your clips look choppy because it's not at 60 frames per second.
Yeah, but it might be a good alternative if
absolutely.
it's a budget concern and you still want to be able to see and hear.
Right. I think my first initial go-to, it would be try to find a videographer that you can fit in your budget, whether that be getting a shorter package and not having them there for the full day, whether it's just doing ceremony and the first hour and a half of reception or whatever, you know. I think that would be my first initial like cover plan for budget wise. And then that's when we can kind of shift into, well, if that's still not in the budget, what else can we do? Maybe get your just ceremony with your videographer and then have your social media content creator for the reception. You know, there's plenty of alternatives you can go without just being, well, we don't have the money for it, we can't do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So there's options. That's good to know. Well, I think that's most of everything we wanted to talk about for videography.
Got any other negatives about it?
I'm not going to grill you anymore.
I really feel that there's more pro to video than con, in my full honest opinion. Like I said, there is a lot that goes into it, so it's not something you're just gonna be able to turn around and get, you know, a week later, unless you're getting a rush fee. But yeah, mega rush. Yeah.
So all right, well, thanks as always, guys, for watching, and if you have
Tune
any
in.
comments, questions, or topic requests, drop them down below.
We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to feature your ideas in the next video. Bye guys, subscribe.